So hello Lohit.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Priyadharshan. So great to see you. And yeah, I saw that you had some questions. Also in general, just maybe quickly say what like other than the questions, I also have some answers. But in general, any additional questions also if you have, or how do you find it so far? Anything you'd like to clarify those as well? Yeah.
No, how he's been in this class for 2 months right now, sir,
Two.
Yeah.
or 2.5 now. So what is the assessment parameters for how is been progressing in his classes?
So how in terms of these classes work is like, is he also in addition playing any local tournaments or like online? Is he playing regularly in addition to the classes?
Then
No, sir.
No? Okay.
Good morning.
So the assessment, I mean, generally the way is there's no standardized test or anything like this. So whatever you learn in class, if he applies or not, the indicator would be when you see it in terms of rating gain or rating growth. So let's say if he goes and plays an online tournament, even in chess.com or Lead Chess, there's not just online tournaments, even just online games. It could be the anything more than the like a 10-minute game. So we have this blitz, bullet, different time controls in online, you might have seen. So I would suggest you play a bunch of rapid games at least, like regularly. Like a rapid is when we say 10 minutes or more time control per game. For you will have 10 minutes, your opponent will have 10 minutes more. So only when you kind of apply it, you can visibly see, okay, I can apply the concept what I have learned and I can move to the next level. And also related to that, I also saw that one question was, is it good to participate in local tournaments? Kind of was the question. So you must absolutely participate. And I believe you are in Chennai, right?
yes, we are in
Location.
Chennai.
So Chennai has a lot of tournaments. Like every weekend they have a tournament, or I mean, Chennai is like unlimited number of tournaments. Whenever you want to go and play, there's some tournament in Chennai. So you can the website where you can look up is like Tamil Chess. If you Google Tamil Chess, Tamil Nadu State Chess Association or Tamil Chess, you will get the list of tournaments. Or also Chennai District Chess Association. So you'll find all the list of local tournaments, and it is absolutely must to participate in local tournaments. I would say, if possible, even like at least two a month. Like they have all like a weekend tournament or a 1 day tournament, or also sometimes like a longer, like a 4 5 day. To start off, at least try to play one Saturday, Sunday weekend tournament or something like that. There was two questions I think Lohit you had asked, like how
Yes.
to play against a stronger opponent. So first of all, I mean, that is in general, in higher levels, what we say is like, don't look at the opponent or whom you are playing, just play your best. It does not matter if the opponent is higher rated, lower rated. If you give your best, so for example, let's say if you know who Magnus Carlsen is, right? Just
Yes,
or
sir.
yeah, just so let's say if let's say if you play Magnus Carlsen today, even if Magnus Carlsen doesn't give his 100%, still probability of him beating you is 100, close to 100%, right? Even if he's like playing half asleep, right? Kind of like that. So the point is, what I'm trying to say is like the thing that we should strive for is to give our 100% on the board, irrespective of who the opponent level is. If someone is stronger than us, okay, should we try to play a completely different game from what we know? If we try to keep changing like that, it would like not it would not work out, because we have our own like whatever strengths and weaknesses and our understanding knowledge of the game. So we would have to play whatever we know and wait for our opponent to make mistakes. If our opponent makes mistakes, we can try to exploit that and win. And in your level, most of the games are decided based on who makes the final blunder of the game. So it does not decided by who makes the first blunder, but it is decided by who makes the last blunder of the game. So, and who manages to exploit that last blunder. Like if your opponent hangs a queen, let's say at the end of the game, and if you manage to spot it and exploit it, then basically, you win the game, right? Even if you hung your pawn at the start of fifth move in the opening, let's say right at the start of the game, but in the end, if your opponent hangs a queen or a rook or something and you manage to exploit it, you end up winning the game. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Is there anything else? So I can answer maybe one more question if you want. Yeah, quickly.
Nothing else. We'll take your advice of he is practicing every day, probably half an hour or so with that limited time, and
Sure.
then online. Actually, like you said, then we'll try to take him to the local tournaments and make sure that he practices.
Yes, definitely. It would be great. Yeah, yeah, sure. Uh, In addition to it, when he submitted for the timetable request, he had mentioned he has only like about 4 hours per week to spend on chess every week. Is that about right?
Well, that actually, well, it depends, right? Like how much time we can make towards
Okay.
it, right? So what do you recommend for his, I mean, as a coach, what do you, because we are
So
clueless as a parents.
yeah, so literally my standard response and is bare minimum, I would say 10 hours per week. I mean,
10 hours.
independent at least, like 10 hours. Like obviously more the better. I mean,
Yes,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, but 10 hours is at least required on this level if he wants to see any consecutive, like, consecutive, like progress. And because all the opponents he is going to be playing in 1800 level and all, like he's no more this amateur. He's kind of somewhere between semi-amateur or a professional kind of, like once
Yeah.
you cross 1800 and all, like because most of the players he's playing are going to be putting that many or more hours than that, like 10 or more. They're all like working. I mean, or they would have a lot of experience being 1800
Yeah.
for years and years. So,
Yeah.
so at least 10 hours is the minimum expectation, I would say. Like if he spends less than 5, and of that 5, let's say 1 hour is the time he spends with the coach, and the remaining of the 4 he spends maybe 15-20 minutes playing on chess.com, and the remaining is whatever he's following the
Yeah.
timetable. That would at best maybe maintain his rating. In my opinion, it might
Yeah.
even like not maintain his rating. It might help go like drop his rating. Like 10 hours is absolutely minimum expectation, I would say. And that is like 1 hour with the coach, let's say, and then if he can spend, and in this 10 hours, what he has to do is the timetable part. So I'm not going to count any of those playing like just even playing Blitz Bullet on chess.com, I wouldn't count under the 10 hours if he does. So like 10 hours of learning is what I'm saying. When he has to do if he wants to really progress further from this level. And progressing from this 1800 and all is like gets even tougher. Like 1500 to 1600 might be easier, but 1700 to 1800 would be tough. 1800 to 1900 gets even tough because the opponent level increases and the strength level also goes up much higher. So the effort required for that 100-point gain between 1500 to 1600 is easier than from, let's say, 1800 to 1900, and gets progressively tougher as every 100 points you go from here. Like 20, that's how I like 2500 to 2600 and all is like might take a lot more of like in terms of chess improvement, but that to get reflected on rating and so on. So from 18, like I think his rating is somewhere around 18, 20 or 30 right now. So from here to going to 1950 or let's say 2000, let's say a fixed goal of 2000, that's in the near short term. It would require definitely like, without 10 hours of minimum 10 hours, I don't think even 2000 is practically possible. I would like to put it
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Got it.
Start
But
ready.
for the sorry,
Yeah.
so you mentioned improving, calculations or forced moves, right? So what are the exercises for that? What should he do?
Yeah, I mean, regarding forcing moves and calculation, more than like I don't know if he's doing a lot of chess.com puzzles or anything like these online puzzles. Instead of that, there is a book, uh, Jacob Agard's Calculation. There's a book called Calculation by Jacob Agard. Or even like there's a website called Chess Tempo, CHESSTEMPO, Chess Tempo. So they have both free and paid version. You can go for the free version itself. Paid version is not required. So something like that. So books that are aimed at like puzzle solving, but at a higher level than his rating level. So like for example, the Calculation by Agard is a book actually aimed at players above 2100 rating. So maybe he could like the puzzle position would be printed on the book, so he could just stare at the position and try to solve without even setting up a board or moving the pieces. Mainly when you are solving, yeah, you should not be moving the pieces at this point. It should just be like observing, like how in a real game you're not allowed to move pieces. So same way, you can just open up the book and observe the position and try to solve it, and so on. And also another thing I noticed was last year I think he played 13 tournaments. I was looking at his USCF card, and some of them were like quads, like the one day event, one or two of it was. So maybe you should try to like see if he could play at least like in a year, like 3 to 4 tournaments, like the Southwest Classic, like 7 rounds
Yeah.
or longer. If he should be playing. Generally, we say is like in for very active players, we say 100 classical games in a year at least. But in such 100 classical games, as in like the longer time controls. But in US kids, I would say at least 50 to 55 classical games, and rest being like at least you should be trying to make him like 13 tournaments in a year is very
Do
less.
less.
That's average is
Yeah.
to one tournament a year, on average. So one tournament a month, my bad. So
So
maybe two a
30-minute.
month if you can.
So the nearest chess club has 30-minute tournaments like almost every weekend. Do you
Okay.
think playing that is also advisable?
So if
Because
he, let's say if he is learning a new opening, then he can use that to test all. 30 minutes is fantastic. You don't have to play classical just to test your opening ideas or whatever you're learning new in terms of opening. 30 minutes or 10-minute games are even like good. Like yeah, even rapid is fine. Yeah, for if like to test out opening concepts and so on. So if he's learning an opening immediately, he wants to test it out, he can go there, try it out, like take the risk, because I don't think it'll affect. I don't know if it affects the standard rating. I don't know if he cares more about the standard rating. If it is, then you could take him where it applies only to his quick or the rapid rating on just USCF, and he could
okay.
play those sections and apply it and test it out. Yeah.
Yeah, this year we will make it we'll definitely make more effort to play more tournaments like maybe Houston or some drivable distance. We should have like I think this session is super helpful actually talking to you, to be honest. I think this will keep us all on a goal. I think as parents also we will also be more focused. So I think if you can have these sessions at least like a semi-annually or quarterly with
No, so we
parents,
are
that'd be
planning to do this on a monthly basis, but again, that
that.
depends upon how many parents are asking. We want to give it so today we set 3 slots and like set this was the first time we tried it out this time, first
Yeah,
time. So if this
it's
goes
it's
well, we
great.
want to do it on a monthly basis and see how it goes from there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
I
sure.
think this makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, yeah,
For
okay. Yeah. Any other issues you faced or anything else, do share the feedback. We'll look into it, what could be done and so on. I mean, that's
yeah,
kind of this mainly like for me to give feedback as well as from parents to get feedback on how the class is. That's why we wanted to have these sessions going forward. We'll try to make it a monthly thing going forward. But again, depending upon how many parents, we would like to give opportunities to all because we have a lot of students and so on. But
yeah. Oh yeah,
definitely, if we have slots, we'll
yeah.
definitely giving you
At
based
least I
on
mean, if not monthly, at least like a quarterly or
definitely,
semi-annually. If
definitely.
we
We
get
will try.
a feedback.
We'll try. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also getting the newsletter and those kind of things, right? Like I think
Yes.
that's where you fill out the timetable, I believe, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where
We are
I also
getting.
write regularly there on a monthly blog like about chess improvements. So Arush can read those kind of things. I don't know if he's reading those things. So even as I mentioned, I wrote about how a student progressed switching from openings and all as a
Yeah.
blog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He sees that. He's reading that.
Okay. Sounds good,
Yeah.
ma'am. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, ma'am. Nice talking to you.
Okay.
Thanks for
Yeah.
joining. Yeah, logging in.
Yeah.